Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we give you healing tips and techniques and tools and coping strategies to heal from depression and anxiety. In my last video, I gave you a 7-step process for creating a healing affirmation. Now I'd like to give you a couple of more techniques that will reinforce that affirmation and make it even more effective. Technique 1 is rhyme the affirmation if you can. Now, why rhyme? Because rhymes simply seem to stay in our subconscious. You remember, those of you in my generation, remember a dumb little cigarette advertisement on television? Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Some of you may remember that. Well, why has that, ad stuck in my mind for 50 years? Because it rhymed. So let me tell you a story about how someone used an affirmation that rhymed in their healing journey. There was once a man who went to a minister who specialized in giving healing affirmations. They're actually called treatments when you stretch a lot of them together. He was a religious science minister. And the man had some sort of a health problem, so the minister listened to his health problem and gave him a treatment, something like this: God in you is your strength, a healing power of a God or a spirit or the universe is flowing through your cells, you are healed and made whole. And it kind of went on like this for a paragraph or two. He then wrote out the prescription, the minister did, and wrote out the treatment, gave it to the man, said, repeat this every day for 2 weeks and come back and see me and let's see how you're doing. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, the man came back and he was healed. His condition was healed. The symptoms were gone. The minister was very pleased with himself and said, wow, it looks like my treatment really did its job. And then the man looked at him very sheepishly and said, I have something to confess. You see, the very day you gave me that treatment, I lost a piece of paper. The minister was amazed. He said, well, how can that be? How did you have such a complete healing without this treatment? What did you do? The man looked at the minister straight in the eye and shrugged his shoulders and said, well, every morning I just simply woke up and said, oh hell, I'm well. Now, that's probably the shortest affirmation I've ever heard. It certainly is very effective, oh hell, I'm well, and you might even try using that yourself. But the moral of the story is rhyme your affirmations when you can. Maybe if you put it to music, you'll even have a pop hit like Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin. The next technique, which I already mentioned, was sing the affirmations. Again, when you put them to music or to sing them yourself or hum them, they take on greater meaning and they're more likely to stay in your subconscious. I remember the great Indian poet Tagore said, God respects me when I pray, but he loves me when I sing. Another really good technique is simply to write the affirmations on Postit Notes and put it on the walls, on your bathroom mirror, on the dashboard of your car. Anything you can do to remind yourself that this is what you're focusing on and this is what you want to manifest. Another really powerful technique, or simple technique too, is to make a cassette tape of your affirmations, or better yet, record them into your iPhone or your Android. I guess we don't have cassette tapes anymore, but record them into your smartphone and then listen to them. I remember many years ago, before smartphones were around, a client of mine had a 30-minute commute to work and back, and he recorded a series of affirmations on a cassette tape, put it in the car recorder, and simply listened to them on the commute. And they were really effective, and that guy really made some great progress. Another technique that was given to me by the metaphysical writer Louise Hay is to state your affirmation while looking in your mirror, kind of like this. Douglas, you are healed from depression. Douglas, you are calm and well. Douglas, you're a really good guy. I mean, it may kind of sound stupid to do so, but if you can look at yourself straight in the eye, and you remember the eyes are the window of the soul, if you can do that and really believe it and really take it in, you're going to be doing a lot better. It's really hard for people to try it sometime. It's deceptively difficult, or I should say it's simple, but more difficult than you can think. So just tell yourself you love yourself while looking at yourself straight in the eyes. The next really potent technique is to use creative visualization and try to take some magazines and cut out pictures. We used to call this treasure mapping in the old days, and make a collage that manifests your affirmation. Because not everybody is an auditory learner, auditory type person. See, when you say an affirmation or you listen to it, you're actually using your ears, it's auditory. But for people who are more visual, making a picture of their affirmations, either picturing in their mind or a literal picture like making a collage, that's a really good idea. Again, they used to be called treasure maps. Take some magazines, just instinctively look at pictures that really speak to you, cut them out and arrange them on a piece of poster board, and you'll be amazed at what you come up with. many, many spiritual traditions talk about gratitude. We have a whole video on gratitude in this video series. And giving thanks before the affirmation and after it is very, very potent. Because when you give thanks, in a way, you're kind of telling the universe that you expect to have this good coming to you. I remember that Reverend Ike said, giving thanks seals the deal. And he told a very interesting, kind of a humorous story about this. He was a very rich guy, and he was once in a parking lot, and the attendant was parking his car, and he reached in his pocket to give him a tip, and he was very cheap, and he meant to give the attendant a $1 bill, but by accident, he gave him a $5 bill. And before he could correct himself, he realized, oh my God, I gave this guy a 5, I wanted to give him a 1. Before he could take the money back, the attendant looked at him in the eye and said, oh, thank you, sir. What did that do? It sealed the deal. He couldn't go back and then ask for the $5 bill after the guy had thanked him. He seemed like a complete cheapskate, right? So thanking the universe ahead of time for the affirmation seals the deal. The final technique I want to share with you is to create a journal or a notebook where you write down your affirmations and monitor how they're doing and just see which ones are working, which ones aren't. Writing down your successes. Again, you're telling the universe that you're serious about using this technique, and this is something that you're really going to use and benefit from. These techniques I've just shared with you have been tested over many years by friends, by colleagues, and by clients. So I encourage you to use them yourself and see what results you get. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you've learned something from this video. And if you want to learn more about this work, you can go ahead and click on the links in the upcoming credits. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in using affirmations to get what you want in your life. Thank you.